once again, this time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw.
And good morning, all. Hope all are doing well in this cold, a little blistery Thursday morning, AM, Dave and the AM, with your Southern Fried Podcast and Cornbread Nation show this morning. Thursday Talk, we call it. So, enjoying being off, but may do a little work this week. We really get started back Monday, back on my job. And I hope that for you, you're having a good time with family. And as we continue to look at the issues that are affecting America right now, welcome all on Instagram. A little note here for you. And it's good to be here. Like I said, it's a little cold. We're in the new studio. I had to warm the new studio up a little bit. We're getting there. 15 minutes ago, you'd be seeing my breath as I breathe, but we got out here a little bit late, but you have to get out on these cold mornings and warm it up. But we're good. I enjoyed the show last night with Rob and with all of you. Again, Happy New Year. It's good to be in 2025, although it is a hard start to the year as we look at violence in America. And it continued last night. You know, first of all, we had the 2 Cybertruck attacks in Vegas and in New Orleans. And then I was reading that there was a shooting. I think that was in Queens. I think if I remember right. But anyway, another event that has occurred. So just pray for our nation, and we'll get through one way or another, I guess you would say, with all these things. There's a lot of details that are coming out, a lot of strong talk that are coming out of New Orleans. And I don't blame them. I'm mad and I'm angry, and I think that a lot of people probably are mad and angry as well as we think of these 2 attacks and what has happened. But a little bit different. The Cybertrucks were a little different. I'm sure that they're probably linked together. It's very odd that it would just be the same kind of truck. One had fireworks and other things in it, and the other one had, pop bombs. One had the ISIS flag. The other one, to my knowledge, did not. They know that they were working together in a house that they had rented to make this bomb material. And so there was coordination that was going on. To what extent, do not know. But they're looking for people. There was very strong talk that came out of New Orleans from the local officials, and I found that striking. And it's just it's good to hear them, basically letting people know that they're not going to put up with it. And Liz Morrell down there, I think that was Attorney General, it basically said, we have the death penalty down here and we'll use it. And let this be a message to all those that think they're going to, basically I'm paraphrasing now, but that message back to the terrorist is, we're coming after you, and we'll convict you, and we'll sentence you to death, and we'll put you to death in Louisiana. So, that's the kind of talk we need for people like this that are doing mass casualties. The numbers I don't think changed overnight since we were last on the air, but there are still, I'm sure, many that are struggling for their lives, and that's so unfortunate right now as we think about those, and also those that'll be planning for funerals. The game is today, 4:00, I believe that is Eastern Standard Time. Good morning. Good morning, Freedom Manon 17. I hope I said that right. We appreciate you being here, and a good morning to you, wherever you're coming from. I'm in the state of Georgia, North Georgia. My partner and co-host, Rob, who's not on this morning, he could pop in. You never know. He is in South Georgia. I am very near Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we're glad to have you from wherever you're coming in and around the world. And for us Americans, we are, and we should be, ticked off as we think about those things that are going on. Good morning, Cook. God bless you this morning. very cold morning. Stay in the heat, let it warm up a little bit. We've got some cooler days coming, but it's good to see you. I'm hoping Cook will be on with us, and Freedom there. He says, Freedom Anon says, good evening. So maybe for you, it is evening where you're at still, but for where I'm at, it's morning. So it's good to have you here, though, nonetheless. And these time zones are amazing as we think about moving around the world. And, in some places you can get there before you can leave and arrive before you left in some time zones if you time it just right. But you'll be wore out. But we appreciate you being here this morning. Let's see here. Good morning. Let me get through a couple of these real quick. And we appreciate you popping in. Cook, no, we got the heater. But Cook hopefully will be on in studio with us this afternoon. We're going to do a couple of shows, but sports show is definitely on the tout. But continued investigations into these. 5 a.m. Okay, 5 a.m. Very good, very good. 5 a.m. So yeah, I'm 6 a.m. here. 6:06 we are in the morning. I didn't look at the temperature, but it is very cool. My studio is behind the house. Cook says, Cook, 7? What's the 7 mean? What does that mean? Is that when what is that? What is that signifying, Cook? I don't know what you mean by that. So, but the game is today. Be a high concentration of security. Obviously, the damage is done. It says we're at 28 right now. 28 in the burbs here in North Georgia. So, 7 o'clock tonight. Is that when you're saying you can come? Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I understood what your message was there. You've probably been up all night. But let's military mom, Tennessee. Okay, well, God bless you for your service, Freedom Anon. We appreciate you so very much, and you're a blessing to us. And we fully support our military, and we stand behind the troops, and we thank you for your service for that. We need to do more for our military, absolutely. But we appreciate that service. The Tennessee Valley has a long history of serving in the military. So, you got up at 3:30. Okay. Well, we're glad you could be here in the morning with us this morning. And, but yes, continuing investigations into the killing. And then also, the Cybertruck that was in front of the Trump Hotel in Vegas. A lot of similarities, not exact, but a lot of similarities. Experts warn there's probably going to be increase the use of vehicles for crime. And I just, obviously they want to look at the background of this. Who's sending these people? Who are they connected to? I'm just not buying. It's always, it's just some disgruntled guy. He's a great guy. He's a lovely guy. His brother says, but he was upset with the divorce, and he converted. He went crazy. Come on. I mean, you didn't report him, like you saw weird behavior, like you weren't worried enough about your brother to tell somebody, hey, I think he might be up to something or something. What's going crazy mean? Do you just sit back and wait? You have a responsibility to your fellow man to let these, get some authorities involved if you think something. And I don't know to what level he knew or didn't know, but I just I'm not buying the lovely guy thing, but yeah, and so we'll see what happens with this. There was video online that showed the truck. I don't know if you saw that when it went into action, and you can see that there's a top view and there's a side view where the barriers were removed, and they talked about that, how they were in the process of changing these barriers and remove them so that cars could not get onto the sidewalks. And you can see that one view where there are barriers, and it's obvious. I mean, he was just cruising down the road there in heavy traffic. And as soon as he got that opening, and he just floored it and escalated back up into the crowd. It looks like he crashed into a boom lift of some kind from the pictures I seen, and then got out from there and began to shoot weapons at officers. There was a couple that were injured I'm not sure at this point if all the folks that were killed or injured was completely by the truck, or if that was combination outside the officers, a combination of the truck and or weapon that he got out with. He did have bombs in there, but ONUK say the Las Vegas Cybertruck bomber, thank you for the information, has been identified as Matthew Livelsberger, a 37-year-old former Green Beret and Army Special Forces sergeant from Colorado Springs, Colorado. That's so unfortunate. So we have two military background issues going on here. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Thank you for the information. Like I said, I have not looked into that one as much as the one that we started with yesterday morning, but I do appreciate. Thank you for the information. I love how folks supply to our podcast information on the fly, and we certainly need that. That helps. So we try to investigate as much as we can. But I didn't get a chance to cruise the morning news a whole lot before coming on the air. So thank you for that. Freedom Anon. 17, I should add. But we appreciate that info. And so, God, it's just so unfortunate. The name doesn't suggest anything, and we just wonder, if there's a connection. It's interesting that they're both the Cyber trucks. I just I don't makes me wonder why. Is this a message back to Elon? I mean, we could theorize a lot of reasons why. It's interesting that both of them were Cybertrucks, or I think that's what they said. But anyway, one was a Cybertruck anyway. I don't know what the other one was, but it's just unfortunate for America, and it's unfortunate for obviously those people who are just trying to enjoy their New Year's Day, either in town just as a tourist, or they were there for the game. I'm not sure of all those folks, and some must be, it could have been locals, but it is absolutely horrible that we're seeing this go on in our nation, and it's sickening. It really is. Okay, then some more information here. Let me get back to this. We'll put it on screen. This is very interesting. Okay, let's bring up this new information. He served. Thank you for this. He served at the same Army base as the New Orleans terror suspect. Okay. These two events occur within hours of each other. Something's definitely rotten in Denmark. Absolutely. And yes, Michael, I believe it is just a precursor of what's to come. I just had this feeling. I in my gut just told me that we were going to. I didn't know it would start that quick, but I just had a feeling we were going to rock into 2025 with. It was going to be a rough year. I told my church this just the Sunday before, and I said, "Listen, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I look, very positively towards each day. I try not to be, walk around looking for, scary things in the corners. I read, but while still recognizing that there's evil in the world and anything can happen any day. I don't step out and expect it to happen every day. But sometimes you just gut just tells you there's trouble, and that's what I told my church. Just listen, I hope I'm wrong, but I said I know we always pray for our country. We pray for those things, and I said, but I really want you to pray a lot over this, because I feel like 2025, and I wanted them to be ready. As I think about, I don't want them to. I don't think it'll affect them and right where they're at, although it could. I just, wanted to know. Yeah, were they lone wolves or deep state operatives? Why did he die in the blast? So many questions. And that's the thing. And that's what, last night we were talking about wanting answers, and Americans, and I know they're investigating, but Americans need answers, and answers quick, because this has, it has a lot of things that we're not dumb, and we realize there's a lot going on. And we need answers to it. They need to give us something to let us know, And I've thought about that too, Michael. Because of everything that's else that's going on, because we're switching, administrations. There's a lot of changeover going on. Is there something else going on? Is this to divert our attention a lot? And I don't know. That's just something we just don't know. But it does make us think that way, and it does make us wonder what in the world is going on in our country. And that's amazing information. Served at the same base, same kind of truck. Who else is involved, and how many more of them are there? Is there more attacks coming? I would think now that everybody that rented a Cybertruck is probably under investigation. Just looking over that a little tighter. Again, it just amazes me. It's the same. Of course, if they're connected, that could have been the deal. It may be no message there at all, but it does make you think. Why was that? Why was it that? And then Michael also says, I believe the drones were a diversion. I believe that too. That was to get everybody's attention. Everybody was talking about it, seeing them, looking for them. And again, you don't hear much about it now. I mean, that came, and it's not saying it stopped, but you don't hear much about it. There for a couple of weeks, it was every night people were sending in reports of drones. Even I think my brother-in-law told me he reported one in the Tennessee Valley to the authorities. He saw one and he wanted to report it. He told me about that. So maybe it was a diversion. I don't know. It does make you wonder, though, doesn't it? It just makes you wonder what in the world is going on. And just all these people that are in the country, and we have trained a lot of people across the world in some of our, best fighting, abilities and stuff. And then this is an interesting comment as well. Let me get this up. I have to switch them over to the StreamYard chat, so it gives me just a second. There's a slight delay with the Instagram anyway, so it times out about right, I think. There are over 1,000 plus trained Al Qaeda fighters that have been sent to the U.S. Yeah, and that's what my point is. And thank you for that. Is how in the world, do we do this to ourselves? Do we pull these people in and train them like that, and so teach them a lot of the ways to overpower and how to network and how to put things together, and just ridiculous. But the ISIS flag is obviously a big indicator of what's going on here. There was news out of the Middle East, the Palestinian Authority, who's no friend of America or Israel either. And they have, they would love to see the destruction of both, I'm sure, but they've been a little bit more Western friendly. They like the money that the Western the Western nations can give, especially America. And they got ran out of Gaza by Hamas, who is, supported by Iran. And there was a news article where they said they believe that Trump is going to destroy, and this is from them, this is from one of their leaders, that they believe that he will destroy Iran. That's them talking, and also Hamas with it, because if you destroy Iran, which is the main supporter of Hamas, they would then Hamas would be done for. Now I don't know, but this was trying to find that article again. But they got ran out of Gaza, and they've been trying to make inroads into the West Bank, not Western, but West Bank, and they felt like that, and of course. They believe we would be working in conjunction with Israel to do that. But this is a Palestinian leader, and he's predicting that he will erase the Hamas ideology by destroying Iran, not Trump. And I was looking for his name. It's Mohammed Hamdan. He is a Secretary General of the PA, Palestinian Authority ruling Fatah party. And of course, they would be all for that because, and again, a lot of the networked groups, and they're all terrorist organizations, but they're all have an enemy. A lot of them have the same enemy, which is Iran. And so yeah. So let's see here. Michael says there was a large drone flying around the county line up there a while back. We have a very important Army Ranger training area in Ringgold on the mountain. That's true. And that may be what he saw. I don't know exactly. I don't remember where he said he saw that one, but he did see it. And Freedom Anon 17 says that is about the information. That is according to the national security agencies. They came in via our U.S. southern border. Yeah. Isn't that sad? And we can all see that. We all know we all know that this is not good for our nation, and then yet our authorities just scoff at it and say we're racist and we don't, we don't love people, we don't have compassion, and they're just trying to help people and da da da. And we're like, no, you're letting in killers. You're letting in people that's going to do harm to our women and children, and now mass casualty events. I mean, sporting events, whether people like sporting events or not, it's not the point. It is a part of American culture. We love our sports in America. And these are big events. Unfortunately, they're also big targets. And so last you saw it by Bethel Church. Okay. Yeah. So who knows who they're linked to, and those, some of those were huge. I mean, they were big drones. They weren't little small ones. I mean, these weren't the type you buy on Amazon for, $100 or $200 or whatever. And, these are big ones. I mean, these are pretty massive. And some of them were, they had to be military. Some of them just had to be. I mean, a normal person couldn't afford to put that kind of thing up in the air. And the fact that nobody was really doing anything about it, it told me that all I needed to know. They were just kind of scoffing at it a little bit. Even if they said there was something there, they weren't doing anything. They had no initiative to do anything. So it's either working in conjunction with, or it's themselves doing it. So, but yeah, it does make you wonder, what's the attention? What are they trying to do to get our attention away from other things that may possibly be? And we're not even, we're still, a little over a couple of weeks away from the swearing in. And, we know that there's, powerful entities that oppose President-elect Donald J. Trump. They oppose MAGA. They oppose the Republicans. They oppose conservatives. And they're not going to go away and, tuck tail and hide. Many of them are going to be very active. And we've got all this stuff in place. Who knows what's in our country just over the last 4 years? These folks have been coming in and establishing themselves for a long time and setting up these terror cells and networking around the nation. And nowadays, with the ability to do so many things electronically, it's very easy to communicate, and some of those communications can be hidden greatly, maybe not totally, but a lot of them can be. And it's just so easy to communicate with people outside the country. If people know what they're doing, they can. Yeah, that's right, Michael. People around here don't have the resources to get a drone like that. So. Yeah, it would tell you all you need to know. But yeah, we do have a nuclear power plant, within the region. It's always concerning to us. And of course, there's dams and other things that could be. I'm always afraid of the water supply being impacted. How quickly we could, or the electrical grid. These are things that could easily be attacked, much more easy than people think. Yeah. And I agree with this. Hold on a second. Let me switch it over to StreamYard. I do agree with this, that leading up, you just have to believe that there's more coming before the January 20th. You just have to believe that. So, so yeah, I see there's more terrorist attacks coming. Let me get up on screen. There we go. To come leading up to January 20th. Yeah, varying sizes, Michael. There is that. From where we sit, brother, if something happened, we're not in the initial blast zone, so it's not immediate, but we're definitely within the first few hours of radiation zone. So, but we're not in that 25-mile radius. I think we would be outside of that, just a bit, not a lot, but a bit. But we're that next wave. So it would happen. It could happen very easily for us. But yeah, like I said, there's other things. So that's amazing. And Freedom of 17 says this is according to Department of Homeland Security, and I don't doubt those numbers at all. In fact, I forget the guy's name. If you've been watching any of those that have been going down into Central America and following these caravans that have been coming up into the nation and have been all over, the different passes and stuff that where they come through. They talked to Chinese young men of military age that were coming in, and we know they were dumping their identities at the border. They found identities. They were getting new documentation. They dumped a lot of stuff on the other side of the border, and sometimes just on the inside of our border. And we're getting new identities, although they still can't change what you look like. But they were dumping those things that they were instructed to do that. They found documentation for that, where they were teaching people where to pass, when to pass, and what to do. And so these were instructions that were, some of them had dropped among this other information on the ground. And God, I know that guy's name. If you know it, tell me. But that's all he does. He's down there, exploring what's going on with our southern border. In fact, he's been, and isn't it amazing? It still ticks me off. The people that were ran away from the border on our side that are American citizens and told to get away, and while they were letting people come through, I mean, it's like they were trying to do stories on what was going on at the border, and they were ran off basically. And some of these that were being put on buses and stuff, there's videos out there where police and other entities were telling these people to go away, stop filming, and all this stuff. And they were like, "This is America. What are you doing?" And they followed them to secret locations, and they threatened them with arrest. It was secret because they didn't know where they were going. And they were showing up at hotels, and they're even down in Atlanta. Our sender up here found where they were transferring a lot of these folks, and they threatened them with arrest. So Colton Moore, and then the national news just mocked that that he was down there, but somebody said, "Hey, you need to go down here and check this out." And he did, and here's all these people. And first he got a little access, and then later, they figured out, hey, and he told them, who he was, and even still, they ran him off. And that's a sender for the state of Georgia, and this is happening in Georgia. Okay, next comment. Thank you for that. Let's see here. According to DNI, there are 750,000 hostile forces inside the U.S. I don't doubt those numbers at all. In fact, I'm a little shocked it's not over 1 million, but that a staggering number. Just think of that. Well, let's look at what's happened with two, and they may have been working with others. I believe they were, and so did the authorities. But a handful of people. Think of 750,000. What if just 1% of that, 1% of that number turned into terror agents in 24 hours in America? Just 1%, even 0.5% of that number. Imagine the damage that could be done. But what if all of them were put in motion? 750,000. Can you imagine the chaos that would occur in America overnight? Can you imagine that? I tell you, and people don't, and people scoff at people prepping and being ready, but it's smart to have some things put away and be ready, because food sources and water, and there's just so many things that could happen. Michael, you're also right. I watched a video on the Canadian border. There are 700 plus miles in the northeast that has no protection except for the sheriff's department. They just walk up to the road and call 911 and get picked up. That is true. We don't guard that border like we do. Well, in fact, we don't guard the southern border, but it is unprotected largely. The Canadians have worked with us and have stopped some of them on their side, and we've stopped some, but who knows who's infiltrated we haven't caught. So yeah, just cornfields for the border. Come on in, as they say. I mean, we welcome you with open arms. Yes, God bless and stay safe. What a great statement, and we do need God's blessing, and we do need to stay safe, and you stay safe. And it's a scary world out there. I'm glad I trust in the Lord, but we do live in perilous times, and these things are intensifying, and we just don't know, what's going to happen. Yeah, that's my point, Michael. If Americans fucks in the cornfields, you'll be prosecuted. Yeah, we are. It's almost like we're the prisoners, right? It's almost like we're others have freedom to go in and out the gate. It seems like sometimes we're the prisoners about where we can go. Maybe that's not in every case, but it does feel like that in some cases, where they run us off from. And, I'll just say again, I appreciate so very much. I appreciate so very much the citizen reporters. If news agencies who scoff at what they might call YouTubers, podcasters, if they whoever does news, and we are, we do consider ourselves as reporting news as we hear it and talk about it and everything else. If they scoff at that, but it's a lot of those citizen reporters who have exposed some of the most horrible things that are going on. It's not our news agencies, which seem to just go along with the company line. They're like the brainless robots who just listen to the authorities and shake their head. And if they question it, they get shut down. And the next thing, you never hear about it anymore. There's no investigative reporting anymore, not much. And except for independent, reporters, those who are, some of them are funded, but a lot of them they're funded by themselves, and they make money off of what they do, and that helps to fund their investigations. But it is this citizen reporting that has highlighted a lot of stuff. So, yeah, people think Trump is joking about the Canadian border. Well, they try to poke fun at everything he says, like he's he has to have a brain, and he's been coming out and saying a lot. Yeah, he's one of them. But there's another guy that I'm thinking of that goes to the southern. I don't know. I've heard of him. I have heard of Peter Sanatello, but there's another guy, and I think he's bald headed. You've probably seen him, Michael. You watch a lot of videos too, but he's been all through Eagle, up that highway. I forget what they call that, and by the way, all the Western restaurants and stuff that are built down there welcome these people up. I think those caravans have been stopped right now, largely because of the messaging put out by Trump. But the Mexicans finally respond. Yes, they are a joke. Absolutely, they are a joke. Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree. And most news is. Yeah, there's quite a few, Michael, that do that. When I get that name, I'll pop it up in the chat in the next program or something today or something. We'll talk about it. But I'll definitely promote him. He does a lot of videos from these areas, and he's been pretty tireless over the last couple of years, maybe even a little bit longer than that. He may have been doing it for longer, but I know for the last 2 years, he's been pretty involved in going down. And he's not the only one, but there's several shows that I've watched where he has been a guest, and he's come in live, and he's also people's went to his website and watched some of his videos that he's done. But that's what we need. We need people like that. Just by the way, just thinking, we talk about our cryptids and looking for those things. But what about we never heard any more about the aliens in Vegas, the ones that are in the backyard that crash landed and everything, and the police, the audio file where they describe these beings. That got squashed. What was that? I mean, never heard more about it. I mean, it just yeah, I know you are, brother. That's good though. Like I said, you help us out. You steer us to information, and we can go look at it. I've got one that I want to. Somebody sent me one on Truth Network, I believe it is. Someone sent me one. It was a video about of some people that were what they did, and I think I know I sent it to Robert. I don't think I sent it to you, Michael. But what they did is there was a person who was it was a man dressed as a woman. And what they did is they found a loophole in one of the states. I think it might have been, it could have been Tennessee. I can't remember. It might have been Florida. I think it was Florida. And they lost their information on purpose and went and redid their information. And when they did that, they let them list. Somehow it's a loophole. They could change their sex on there, and they were bragging about it and encouraging other people to go do the same thing. So that it'd be more like official, like I'm officially now this. And it was pretty sick. But they were bragging about it, how smart they were. They've outsmarted the system. And And so that's one way, whatever you feel about that, it's whatever you feel about it. But, think of these people that are out there working the system for terror reasons. And, they're looking for those. This guy knew, he knew that barrier had gaps in it. I mean, there's no doubt they were ready for that. They knew that there was a spot that they could come through. And, they were looking for, they were just timing that out. And there's no doubt that it was timed for the new year. It was time, sure, a lot more people in town, big event the day of. Yeah, they were definitely looking at that. Okay. Yes, they do. Yes. Great comment. Freedom of 17. We get that pulled up. Government creates chaos and offers solutions. It will always take away your liberty to give you safety. Yeah, that's true. We're the government. We're here to help you, right? Yeah, that absolutely on this one too. Absolutely. So, absolutely. Let me get that one up too. So I'm trying to get all your comments up. There we go. Yes. Yeah, just another day in Biden's America, right? Going to make sure we go out. Well, that's a good point, Michael. That is a good point. Who's the connect? Who's giving them information? Where did they gather this information at that let them know that they were going to be changing these out? I mean, he drove to that spot. I mean, he was just cruising along looking for that spot and found it, and went through it. I mean, it's a horrible video. Just a sorry piece of crap. Evil, pure evil. And God bless those people. My heart's broken for them. The security for the Sugar Bowl had been there for a week. They said, yeah. So. Yeah. And like I said last night, I hate it for these players. And they have to play a game in the midst of all this when it should just be, and they'll put aside all this and they'll play, but it has to be in the back of their minds. I mean, these are young guys, just very young age, and they're there, and it's a big event, it's a major event. They're getting to be in a big city. Some of them probably never got to go to somewhere like that. And now they had to go into, shelter in place, and they couldn't move about. The game is delayed. It has to throw, and obviously their parents. I mean, I know it was blocks away from probably where they were staying, but if your child was a football player or someone associated with those teams, and that happened, I mean, you're going to be concerned. And it's just unfortunate. And then these poor folks that are going to have to be going through a New Year's funeral, and others that are fighting for their lives. It's absolutely horrible. Yeah, it's I don't believe in coincidences either. Freedom of 17, and it's definitely was planned and timed to strike at that point. And so yeah, and again, what forces are supporting these that are, again, it's obvious they're against Trump, but and promoting ISIS. But I did see something about this. I don't think I put hers up first. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences. I put it in the chat, but I forgot to pop it up on screen. I'm going to do that for everybody else. So a boy that played on Princeton football team was one that died. I think I just kind of read that. I didn't really get the full story. But that, like I said, just life snuffed out for just evil reasons. Pray for our nation. Just truly, truly sad that we see something like that happening in this day and time. And it does. It's like me and Rob were saying last night. It just makes us mad. It really, really makes us mad. And we have a right to be mad. Let me run a quick commercial. I'll be right back, and we'll continue going. And thanks for being here at Southern Fried Podcast Thursday Talk with Dave in the AM. Be right back. Hey, folks, Dave in the AM here with the Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. For many weeks now, me and Rob have been telling you about our affiliation with Dubby Energy Drinks. I've been drinking some of them on the show, and I just got in today the powdered version, and this is the Pond Blom version of this. And hey, I tell you that it gives you the focus and the energy without the jitters or the crash. There's no sugars, no fillers, no artificial dyes. So get you some Dubby today. Use the promo code Southern Fried, and you'll get 10% off each and every order. Not only can you get the energy drinks, but you can also get some cool merch items. In fact, soon we're going to have a hat to show you as an example of some of those things. There's shirts and other things you can get as well as containers to mix up the powder and the water into that you can carry with you. We appreciate your support of the Southern Fried Podcast and also of Dubby Energy Drinks. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Hey, folks, one last one, Mammoth Nation, we're affiliated with as well. Appreciate our vendors. We're spotlighting this week. It's Fisher Dye Bait Company, and become a subscriber to Mammoth Nation. When you go through their portal, you get all kind of discounts. I'm a shopper myself. I have bought several things through them. I'm a lifetime member now of Mammoth Nation. Big fan of that business and organization. Is very pro-American, pro-military, pro-American values, and they're making a stand every day and helping companies out that are the same way and the same type of belief. And I like the difference that they're making. Go there, use that QR code. You help us, you help American business, and I'm all about that. As my good friend Steve says, I don't want to support the Chinesium. So appreciate the Mammoth Nation that we're allowed to be affiliated with them. And I love that name. I'm like Rob, Fisher Dye Bait Company. I love that. So it's good to be back with you. Thanks for all for being in here this morning. I hope you're having a great day. And so, Freedom, back to your comments. And I didn't understand that when I read the article last night, when they were talking about these barriers that had been, were being changed in and out. And like, okay, you're changing these barriers, but why couldn't you put up something else in the meantime? Why would you leave a gap like that? It's absolutely asinine. Why would you do that? It didn't make sense to me when I read that. I mean, I was like, okay, that explains why they were able to do it. But another question is, why would they allow them to leave a gap like that? Well, Michael, we hope so. You know, I don't know Notre Dame, but I believe Georgia players will be strong and ready to go. Really, most young men aren't scared of anything. No, and I didn't mean it as in a scared way, just that it, it is, it does affect them. And let me give you an example of that. Whether you like Auburn University or not is not the point, but their basketball coach, Bruce Pearl, who is Jewish, I like to listen to him. He loves America, and obviously he loves Israel, and he really tries to instill in young men, expand their thought process. And he takes his basketball team to Israel every year. And while they were in Israel one year, there was a terror attack, and he said he saw how it affected them. And he takes them to the Western Wall. He takes them to different places. They do tourism as well. But he wants them to know, expand their horizons to see what's going on out there in the world. And of course, the parents back in the States were like, "Oh my goodness, my son's in Israel and there's a terror attack." So it was a chance to teach them. And he said they'll come back changed. They'll look at the world in a different way. And I think for these young men in New Orleans, like a lot of people, they're into video games probably. I mean, I know they're working out, becoming better players. They're still in college, so they're doing college work. Most young people are, dating and or have girlfriends, or some of them even married and have children. But their thoughts are way different. Maybe they're not even looking at world politics and terror or anything like that. These young men will be changed now because of this. They will look at the world a little bit differently. That might be a good thing in some ways, but it's also sad in another way. Yeah, I'm sure they will be. When I say if you're in Israel, think, yeah, it's right. It will touch you if you're a Christian because it's everything's biblical, and it all speaks of it. And yeah, they will have swept the stadium many times. The unfortunate part is that it'll probably look like the green zone in Iraq or something. The amount of security that's going to be amped up now because of this getting into the stadium. I would suggest that that people go early to that game. And there were people that couldn't even go. They were trying to sell their tickets. But anybody that's considering going, your normal getting in time to a place like that, you better add to it big time, because it's going to be a little more it's going to be time consuming. They're really going to be checking things even closer than they would have, I'm sure. So the security check-in to get into the Superdome will be longer. So that I know there's multiple gates, but so yeah, it was deliberate. Yeah, absolutely. Why did they do that? And at that time. Yeah, Senator Kennedy, Michael says, was really upset with them all. I like him. There's a couple things I didn't agree with him on, but mostly I agree with him. And he's they need to get answers. And I do like this comment that this Attorney General down there said that listen, we've got the death penalty down here. We'll put you to death, and for being a part of the terror here that killed people. And that's the kind of talk we need. Honestly, we got to let these people know they're not going to back off. They're not afraid. We need to put them on the run. I mean, I just have this image of the dogs out, the torches, and we're running these people down. But yeah, I want to see some. They've been really good about kicking in doors of Americans. Let's kick in the doors on some of these terror cells, and let's have the 3-letter networks in tow with their cameras, and putting these people on the ground and arresting them for being involved in anything like this. I suspect there'll be places they could hit all over the country, and I would hope that we'll see that. You're probably right, because they'll make it a federal deal, but it is good that they're talking that way. They still, Michael, may still get a local. They won't get the lead, but they can still bring charges, and they can still bring them to court. Although the federal charges will carry they will have to do that first. It's kind of like what happened to the guys down in South Georgia over at Brunswick, or Glenn County, and the I can't think of that the kid's name. That was jogging anyway. They were federal charges, but there are also state charges, and so they went through 2 trials, and the federal charges they will serve first, and there's no get out of jail early for good behavior on those charges. I mean, they're never getting out. I think the one guy has some sort of outside chance, but the guy that filmed it, I don't think they'll ever get. They'll never get out of the jail. They're going to die in jail down there. But the federal charges will stick as long as they prosecute. But I think they still can come back and bring state charges and bring them to trial. But they won't be able to put them to death because the federal charges would carry the weight. I agree with you. They could announce that, but they would spend the rest of their life in a federal institution. And so I do too. I liked what I'm hearing. Let's go get them. I mean, they're like, let's load up. Let's go get these people. She was ready to go now. I'd be ticked off if I was an official with New Orleans. I mean, they're citizens, dying, tourists dying that's coming into the area, made their city look bad. It's on the world news now in a wrong way, and brought fear and chaos into their city. And so yeah, I mean, that's the kind of talk we need. We got to go after these people and take them down. I mean, we have got to root our country out of of these folks. And it's just shocking that, we see that they had connections to the same military base. And what connections do they have? I mean, through that, just through the military, what connections do they have? They rented the Airbnb, I feel bad for those folks. I mean, I know they didn't imagine if you were the one who was renting out the Airbnb, and now you found out that it's been used to make bombs from a terror group. Bad for you. I mean, that's horrible. Yeah. Let's see. Hopefully, since Bob was upset about choosing Garland, he doesn't part. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they give them they always say, it's just one person or two. It's just misunderstood. They're always trying to soften the blow of the rhetoric that's said about these terror groups. No, we need to full on call them out for what they are. They're murderers. And, they were trying to do that. I mean, look how they did the ones that came into Israel. Whether you like Israel or not the point. These people came over the border in Israel and killed and kidnapped and raped and brutalized women and children. And, and people around the world were celebrating, and authorities were trying to downplay it and call it other things, and they still got to answer for that terror, that security lapse, rather. The security lapse allowed that to happen. And that was a cross-border incursion to that music festival. What happened there? Well, we got the same questions. We've got security lapses in the United States of America, and people are coming in now and attacking people at, football games or leading up to football games. And what other mass, events can they do carnage and mass casualty things coming up? Now they're going to be thinking about this as the next games are played, the next round of the playoffs, and then you got, NFL football playoffs and Super Bowl. And, all this has got to be, I mean, I know they always look at it. It's not like it's not, but how in the world did you not, again, I'm with Freedom of Non-17 there. How in the world did you not do something about that with a temporary barrier? Why would you leave that gap there? I would say somebody needs to be fired for sure that allowed that to happen, and just make sure, investigate, make sure they didn't have any connection to any of this. But yeah, why in the world did they allow that to happen and put those, leave those gaps in it? It was a long way away from 20 blocks, I think, away from the Superdome. But still, they did this for security reasons. And, why would they let that happen? Let's see. Everything Israel facing goes back to the 7 rule, all the way back to Jericho, the 7 Israel's fighting. Yeah. And it's going to be ongoing. And I just find it ironic. ISIS was defeated, right? And then all of a sudden, all this fighting going on in Syria, the Bashar Assad regime, Russia, they lose out. He's ran out of the country, and these other groups take over and promising they empty the jails. They're promising a new day in Syria. And within weeks, we've got an ISIS flag on the back of a truck hitting people in New Orleans. I know it wasn't just in Syria they were, but that was basically that was ground zero for ISIS, or ISIL, as President Obama liked to say. And we know why he was saying that, but ISIS. And why was, this type, and why did they cover the flag? That really ticks me off. Why did they put the jacket around that flag so it couldn't be seen? Why? Who did that, and why did that happen? I mean, I know why. They don't want nobody to know. They don't want nobody to see that. They try to hide this kind of information from us. But this dude's flying an ISIS flag on the back of his truck. Just ticks me off, man. Oh yeah, let me just tick you off, man. Good morning, Celtic Blacksmith. The Moss simps are marching through Manhattan now, calling for a global intifada. Yeah, global this. I'm gonna watch my mouth. I'm really mad about this. Again, yeah, they get out in the streets and celebrate. It's like when the towers fell. They were, all this money we've sent over there to those areas, and when the towers fell, there was videos of them. They were having parties out in the streets, celebrating, high-fiving each other and everything. And you think I want my tax dollars going over there for that? No. And that wasn't just Hamas celebrating too. I know there are people that don't agree, but it's a lot of them, and they're in our country. I'm marching through the streets, like you say. it's enough is enough. It just makes me mad. It so makes me mad that this is going on. And like Freedom Anon 17 was saying, this is not it. Michael was saying it's not it. There's more coming. These are just precursors to more. Deliberate attacks, coordinated attacks on our installations, on places in our cities. And again, I just hope that they don't get to the power grids or the water supplies. That really alarms me. How simply they could do something like that and disrupt our nation. And again, you did a good job, Joe. As Joe was, you did a good job of tearing down the nation. I mean, yeah, you've just been playing footsie with the Iranians and everybody else, sending cash over there. And we still got American citizens that are hostages and nothing's being done about it. Enough is enough. It just goes back to that. And so ISIS was defeated. That's why another reason they didn't want Trump. And wonder how many. Yeah, well, and I'm not use that terminology, but they go and that's a lot of people don't understand. If they say they support them, but if they were there, they would be they could be punished by death. It's written in their code, as much as a code as you say they have, but in their laws and stuff that they have, that they can be that. So thank you, Cook. Yes, we need Jesus' blessing. That's for sure. I mean, we've just got a lot of problems, and I just don't feel secure, and that's just not a good feeling. Like I said. And more people are going to feel insecure to speak out and say things. And so that's what they want you to think. That is absolutely what they want you to have. Well, that's true too. And by the droves, brother, by the droves. Also the deer herds. I don't know if you've kept up with that, but deer herds. Look at what happened down in Texas on some of those. Yeah, I mean they're killing off cattle supplies, deer, the food supplies has absolutely impacted us. If nothing else, the prices will go up on what's left. And we already have enough problems with inflation and pricing now. And a lot of these things and the issue with the farmers and in some cases, we got Chinese owning farmland, massive amounts of farmland across the United States and close to military installations. Oh, that's nice. That's a good feeling this morning on second day of 2025, isn't it? So, yeah. Amen, brother. Not felt safe since 9/11. Well, yeah. And there's still a lot of folks that want to know who all was involved in that. We still, I don't think anybody figures they've got the whole story on that. I know different people have different opinions about 9/11, but what is the full story and who all was involved? Certainly don't think it was just limited to those all screaming Allah Akbar as they flew into the buildings. I will say that. And how far did that go? And we still don't know. How and to go back, how does a little speedboat get within range of the USS Cole, where American sailors were killed and a hole blasted inside of it big enough you could drive trucks through? How does that happen? Why do they allow little Iranian speedboats to run out at our military as it goes up through the Strait of Hormuz there? And why is that allowed to happen? They can run circles around our military. We shoot a warning shot and we holler out loudspeakers, tell them to stop. Why have we not dropped them in the water? Why have we not let them know everyone you send out here that gets in a certain range of our ships, you're sunk, you're done, we'll neutralize you? I mean, yeah, we're not. You have to have security for your people. You have to have that kind of thing in place. You can't allow things like that to happen. Let's see here, another post here. Thank you for all y'all joining. I don't do every Thursday, but I do like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes we talk about some different things. But Freedom Anon 17 says ex-CIA Intel analyst Sarah Adams given an independent report on the coming terrorist attack before an alert January 20th. So, yeah, and what in the world? I mean, you can imagine the swearing in. That city is going to be on lockdown. The fencing will go back up. Well, maybe they'll leave it down. I mean, they wanted it up to keep Americans out, but now that the swearing in, they're not happy. I wonder if the barricades will go up in D.C. I really wonder. Are they still up? I don't know. Maybe they're still up. Some of them, but I think some of them have been removed. Will they put those back up? And what kind of will they be National Guard stationed in the city during that time? Will they take the precautions? I don't know. These are questions I have, especially what has happened within the last 24 to 30 hours. What precautions are now being planned or are going to be planned and put in place. Well, there's been a lot of talk about that. I've heard that mentioned, and we do have, there's a lot of stuff around the world. And wasn't in Africa, there was, some bad stuff going on that they were talking about could affect us. So, again, it just doesn't make you feel good, does it? I mean, I'm not going back to a world of mask wearing and, all that. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. They can just stick it. I'll just say that. I'm not doing it. But yeah, how they know, yeah, makes you wonder, don't it? I don't know, Michael. I don't know. It does make you wonder. We just keep praying for that. Well, I do get that they were in a foreign port, but and I understand that, but my opinion on that would be, or my statement on that would be, then we don't need to be in. We'll just create our own port. I'm not. Why would we put our folks in harm's way like that? That is a good point, but I mean, I wouldn't want to be going to a place I'm defenseless and I can't defend myself and my men. And so, if they're going to handle security, we're handling it. We need to put our foot down as Americans in some of this stuff, and we can create things out there. I have a good friend. He's my Bible teacher, and I don't know that he ever has listened to the podcast, but God bless him. Love you, Dr. Kersh. He was a U.S. Marine back in Vietnam, and he has a statement he makes. He said, "Everywhere American blood has been spilled in defense of that land is now American land." That's the way he feels about it. But put the American flag up, that's now U.S. soil because American blood has been spilled. I like it. Yeah, the coal, they knew where they were in Yemen, but Yemen's that's a cesspool. That's another terror base of operations where they just, it's horrible. That's a horrible place. It's really sad. But yeah, they didn't do anything. Not really. Not really. And come on, some presidents, they like to, and he was one of them, they like to fly a few missiles into an area and say they're being tough. This is interesting from Freedom of 17 again. Let's pop this one in. Biden moved Ukrainian biolabs. And there's a lot of questions about those biolabs. They said they moved them to the Congo. A lot of questions about those labs and what all they were working on. And there's so many questions we all have about Ukraine. We know a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff we don't know. And those biolabs are a huge part of this story, and they don't talk about them much. Yeah, and Russia wanting control of the energy in the area. One of the biggest, I think they do have control of that biggest nuclear reactor that's in the area. He wants to control all the energy. He wants everybody, like I said, he's like a godfather. He wants them all to bow at his foot, kiss his hand for all that stuff. And he wants to increase the motherland back to all those lands that they had. So, and he wants NATO pushed back. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So, but yeah, the biolabs and what's going on, I always get that cringy feeling when I've been in Atlanta and passed by the CDC. I was thinking, what dark things are lurking there that they've got in containers, and what about a terror attack on something like that? You've got all these viruses and stuff that they work on and have in storage in a place like that. It's scary. I know they have security, but they have security here too. I mean, it just makes you wonder sometimes what in the world and what could be released and on American citizens and cause, like I said, it doesn't take a whole lot to cause mass chaos and confusion. The global markets going crazy, food supplies disrupted, water supplies, and think about this, all of the cybersecurity, all of your water systems are controlled through these cyber systems. So there has been attacks on them constantly. And there's times where they've had to take the grid down a little bit in some cases and bring it back up because it was compromised. And let's think about dams. You can control the amount of water flow through a dam by computer. I mean, those things are all they have. Yeah, they got protections on, but these people have worked tirelessly day and night to break into those systems and crack the code and be able to control them. And what if they were able to shut down and got the ability to shut down cause a nuclear reaction or a meltdown, or caused a dam to release its water all of a sudden, or at least with the gates wide open and they overrode it and they couldn't get them closed. And we're trying to do a manual or something. But these are the things that concern me because they affect so many people, and it's so not to say it's easy to do, but people with foreign powers have the resources, endless amount of resources, and we gave them the money to even support them and to do something like that. Yes, they do. Many things going up and down the interstate. That's true. Yes, they did, and they were on a boil. I don't know if that is over. I know all the stores around here, they shut down all their fountains yesterday early because there was a water pressure issue, and I'm sure it was related to probably some of those things. I don't know if they were tied together or not, but every one of them, they were not selling. You couldn't even get ice in those things. Now, I know that's a minor inconvenience to folks, but what if it got on a bigger scale and for weeks, water supplies were about having to boil, or what if we couldn't get water? What if the water supply system was impacted? How quickly would it go bad? So that's just things we think about, things that make you go, right? Again, welcome everybody in here. I'm going to be on here for a few more minutes. Then I've got a few things to do. I'll be back on today. Cowboy Cook will be with me, and maybe my oldest son might be with me in a live here after a while. And let's put up this latest comment. Thank you, Freedom Anon, for coming in. We welcome you here, and hope you'll come back and continue to give us good things for our chat and I love the conversation. I really, really do. And that's one of the things we want to do with the podcast, just have an open source conversation, allow people to have a voice. Korean biolabs are genetic altering to attack people with Russian DNA. And then Michael says, that shows how one place can hurt so many people. Yeah, it does. All these things affect us. And I always said, whatever affects Israel affects the rest of the world. It really does. It has ripple effects out. And yes, Cowboy Cook, pray and keep praying. Absolutely. So pray for America. Pray for these families. Pray for our military, our first responders, city officials. There's bound. I know there's some good folks that are at any level. It may be corrupt at the top, but there's good people that is involved in agencies who's dedicated their lives to, to their service, whether it's FBI or whatever. Let's pray for those folks on the ground that's working hard to, find out the information. We want them to find out the information. We want that information as soon as possible so that we can act on it and hopefully stop anything else that could possibly be planned. I just can't think this is a one-off event. It was coordinated. There was a lot of information there. Possibility it was, but I think there's foreign entities involved with that. So, yes, I do know about that. So thank you, Marcus. So appreciate that. But yeah, and thanks for support of the Southern Fried Podcast. We enjoy what we do, and we thank you for being here. I'm in the midst of setting up a new studio. And it's a work in progress, but we're in it this morning and happy to be here and thankful to be here this morning. We're thankful to all of you, and I hope you can enjoy the rest of your day. So, and hopefully you're off work until next week, and most of you, hopefully, and enjoy the game today. Whether you're a fan of either team, tune in and watch. Hopefully, what'll be a good football game, and pray for the families. And I'm glad they moved it. A lot of people get mad at stuff like, well, people die every day. We don't move stuff. And in a case like this, it was important to do that because there was investigations going on. There was, it was a crime scene, even though it was blocks away. It was the right thing to do. And I hate that for people that it disrupted all of their plans. But you know what? Nobody can, we just don't know when things like that are going to happen. So I think most people understand. I imagine during the game, pregame and during halftime, there will be some sort of recognition of this and, something said towards it a little bit. Of course, the media will be talking about it a lot, but let's put all, that'll be there. But let's have a good game. Go Dogs! I'm a Dogs fan, and I hope the players all stay safe and there's no injuries in the game, and they play a good game. And if Notre Dame wins, I'll tip my hat to them. I wouldn't like it, but I will Cook. I will communicate with you here a little bit later this morning. And let me think on that because I got to look and see what my schedule's like for today. It shouldn't be hard to do that, but I will let you know about what time we're going to do that. So glad to have you, man. I'm excited you're going to be in the thing. We're still setting up. We don't have your part of the studio built yet, brother. your corner of your booth, but that will come. We have the spot, but we don't have it. We don't have it in place. There's still things being delivered and things that we're constructing, and so it's a work in progress. But we're getting there. But I'm in here and happy about it. So glad to be in the studio and glad to be in here. So yes, he was. They said it was a recent conversion, although I wonder about that. But some of them, his ex-wife said that he went crazy, was being all crazy, I think was the official quote, that he was being all crazy. So yeah, again, what's the top, what foreign power? I mean, they've always got some imam or whatever, that, preacher of hate that they've been listening to. We always find this out. I want to know what's on the videos. He made some videos going down the road, and he wasn't on camera, but it's him. And they have those videos. I'd like to know all what's on the video. There's not a lot of information about that, and I don't suspect there will be. I imagine some of that won't be released because I imagine it's probably a call to Intifada. It's probably a call to global war on America and Israel. I just no telling what's in those videos. I can't imagine it's just about him and his problems with his ex-wife and whatever else. I just can't imagine that. So I don't know, but I would like to know what's on those videos. They've still never released one of the videos from the Columbine massacre. And to my knowledge, that video has never been released. That one of the videos that those two killers said are made. All the other videos you can see, I've watched all of those, but one of them I think it's in possession of the police. There's a lot of people trying to get access to it. And why was it held back? What did they say on there that, after all these years that you couldn't release that? So I don't know. Not sure on that. But thanks for joining this morning. Like I said, I've got a few things to do this morning. This is Dave in the AM with their Thursday talk. We come through Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every morning all those mornings at 6 a.m. And a lot of days I do Tuesday and Thursday talk as well. We have 3 evening shows live every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 2 of those are at 7. One is at 8 p.m., that being Friday Night Front Porch Talking. And there are other shows we do. Most are live. Some are recorded. And we have our morning devotion and all those that break every morning. We hope those are a blessing to you. Our MAGA Minute that we do. And we try to bring a laughter. I didn't do them yesterday for the holiday. And it may not have one on that end for today. Maybe not. We'll see. I'm not in a laughing mood right now. I'm in an anger mood. So I am. I know we have to keep our laughter, but I don't feel like laughing. But we try to do those every day. We've got some. We're going to be honored. We honor Veterans of the Week. We've got 2 of those to put up, and we do Pets of the Week as well. Join us on Sunday morning with Sunday Morning in the Word. with me at 8 or 8:15, somewhere in there. And then Sunday Night News, which is all political. Sunday Night News, our SFP News Desk, 9 p.m., 9 to at least 10, sometimes on to 11. We have a Sunday Night News. We talk all politics. It's all politics. And what's going on with Trump. So very soon we have 2 new shows, Southern Fried MAGA. It'll be all about the leadership of Donald J. Trump, the MAGA movement, conservatism, all that. And then Cornbread Nation, a completely different show. And it's part of the foundation of the Southern Fried podcast and Southern Fried Media Group is Cornbread Nation. And become a breadhead. You can go to Facebook page. And yes, let's go Cornbread Nation. You're going to be seeing new logos and stuff related to that very soon. And go to the Facebook page, Cornbread Nation, join there and become a breadhead. You're going to be able to be seeing more merch off of this very, very soon. We are working on logos and stuff now, and we'll be putting that up and then putting the link out there for the new store. We'll keep our old store, say old, but our other store, it's still good, we still use it. But we have a new store, and I think it'd be a little bit easier for us to update and have some things there. We're not going to get rid of the other things. We've ordered from there, and I have hats and mugs and things from there. But the new store, it's just a little easier for us to manage, and I think we can get a better price point too. So those are all good things. And again, thank you for all the support you give just by watching and being here and commenting in the chats. We thank you so very much. Yeah, I got to go too, Freedom 917. Thank you for being here this morning. God bless all. Cook, I'll be in touch with you. Look for us to be on later today with at least 1, possibly 2 lives. And then we roll into Friday back with our morning show, Front Porch Talking. Thank God bless America. God bless America. We salute all the service members. We salute all the patriots, all the MAGA, all those that love America. We're all about freedom. We're all about loving America and protecting the rights that we have as Americans. And that's all summed in Cornbread Nation. It's like mom and apple pie. We love our nation, and we don't want to see it change into something that it shouldn't be. We hold those values true, whatever background you're coming from. If you're on for that ride with us, because that's where we're at, and we don't hide that for nobody, and we'll not be ashamed of it. We are America first, and we believe in all those Second Amendment first, all those things that we have, the freedom of speech, the freedom to bear arms, and all that stuff, everything we have. My thoughts are all over the place this morning. I'm just really angry and ticked off, and I'm a ticked off American, and I'm just angry that fellow Americans have died because we haven't done our due diligence that we should have done. And I'm angry at those who did it. And I'd like to see justice, and quick justice. And we need to get moving on as a nation. We absolutely do. Take care. God bless. We'll see you soon. Salute to you.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show.